Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a fire torch through a Harlan County church on Sunday. We talked with the pastor about what they plan to do next. And closings continue across the Bluegrass day by day, leaving many small businesses worrying about their financial future. Plus, schools are changing plans as closing recommendations are now extended to April 20th. We talked with officials in Knott County about their next steps.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is now 5:33 and I'm Lacey Roberts. Thank you for joining us on Mountain News This Morning. It is Monday 2.0 and it's certainly kind of feeling like it outside. You're realizing those temperatures are going to stay cold. And Brandon, we're hoping that those will probably change maybe a little bit later today. If not, I know we're really looking forward to later this week.
Yes, indeed. I think we'll see those temperatures climb pretty quickly today under those mainly cloudy skies. A few peaks of sunshine can't be ruled out this morning. I wouldn't get your hopes up too much though. Now let's take a look at our main issue this morning, which is the fog. And it's in the ridges, it's in the valleys, it's everywhere this morning, but especially down toward I-75 in the Lake Cumberland area, back into central Kentucky and into parts of the Cumberland Valley. Just be very careful this morning. Temperatures across the board in the 30s in Somerset, Irvin and Ashland, 40s pretty much everywhere else, with one lone 50 left over in Jonesville. That's a pretty good dip from yesterday, except for in Wise and Jonesville, where it is 2 degrees warmer. Everybody else at least a few degrees colder. Richmond and Somerset 16 degrees colder than it was this time yesterday. Temperatures will climb steadily throughout the day, getting close to 60 this afternoon. But you know what else will climb steadily as we head deeper into the day? The rain chances. We'll talk more about all that coming up here in just a little bit. Lacey?
Thank you, Brandon. And the search continues in Leslie County for a missing woman swept away by water in Cushion Creek. This happened after a car crash early Saturday morning. 2 people made it out, but one of them is in jail. Crews have been working around the clock trying to recover the woman. WYMT's Connor James was at the search site and has the latest.
Crews spread along the embankment here in Leslie County.
Considering this flows into the Middle Fork, which flows over to Buckhorn Lake, that's a wide territory.
This area John Newell and others are searching spans miles. When the car went into the creek Saturday, the water was at flood stage.
And that's the thing, you just don't know.
It's dropped roughly 8 feet, but the water is still difficult to navigate.
Still pretty swift, still deep in places, but there's so many different places where a body could get snagged or held up.
As of now, this has moved from rescue to recovery.
Yes, more than likely, yes.
On Sunday and Monday, dogs from Moorhead worked to narrow that search area down. Volunteers also packed in throughout the weekend.
I'm not going to begin to name the groups that have been here, but we've had a lot of groups, a lot of local people have come out.
And while the dogs have hit certain areas,
just praying that the Lord above will give us direction today and show us where she is. And give some closure to the family.
There is still no sign of where she might be. In Leslie County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, there is still no information on why one of the people in the car is in jail. Crews are not releasing the identity of the woman who is missing. And one man is now behind bars on murder charges in Jackson County. This man right here, 23-year-old Jesse Gibson, is charged in the death of Elijah Rader, who disappeared in late January. State troopers found Rader's body this past weekend off of Old Island City Road. Now they need your help finding 2 other people wanted for murder and kidnapping. They think 48-year-old Bruce Carr from Manchester and 35-year-old Melissa Gully from Richmond were also involved. Anyone with information is asked to call Kentucky State Police. And Sunday was a tough day for church congregations across the Commonwealth, as most went their first day without sitting in pews for service. And in Harlan County, Believers Tabernacle Church was heavily damaged in a fire late Sunday night. The Harlan City Fire Department was called to the fire around 9 p.m. Pastor Tim Goshen says former congregation members came out yesterday to support the church.
We noticed a lot of people that used to be members of our church came down last night and they were brokenhearted and everything. So, maybe there's something good can come out of it. Maybe it can bring them back.
Thankfully, no one was injured. Officials are still trying to determine the cause of the fire. And as closings continue across the Bluegrass day by day, those changes left many small businesses with dwindling numbers, which means no money for those small business owners. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to a couple of those owners who have some ideas for what the government should implement next.
We're hoping we can, maybe a month we can go on like this, but I don't know much beyond that.
For the Mariettas, the closings in Kentucky shut the doors to all 3 of their businesses.
Today we've had 1 sale all day versus probably, another Monday we probably would have around closer to 20 maybe by this time.
Now they stare unemployment in the face.
There's also requirements that you have to work in a job for 6 months before you can even qualify for unemployment benefits. Well, we opened the coffee shop, two and a half months ago?
It's not been 3 months.
Leaving the baristas without a dime and the Mariettas losing each one they own hour by hour.
Many of us small business owners are already maxed out on loans, and that's what we did to open or continue running our business.
So they compiled a list of what they think the government could do to lend a helping hand.
For one, they could immediately declare disaster unemployment insurance.
Along with relief from payroll tax, non-dilutive finance, and emergency loans, because they have no promise for these next 30 days.
The hardest decisions yet to remain, which is balancing the economy, the global economy, against the threat of coronavirus. And we just pray that our leaders can be wise and make good decisions.
In Corbin, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, the Mariettas hope to start delivery services today, especially for healthcare workers there in Harlan. And only essential retail stores remain open. Many business owners are having to change how they operate. In Perry County, Rhonda Brewer is co-owner of Southern Blessings. They closed their in-store business Friday after not seeing a drop in sales as state officials continue to stress social distancing, saying while they thought it was a tough decision, they felt it was the right move.
Out of concern for our customers, our vendors, and our employees, we just kind of felt like that was the best thing for us to do.
Southern Blessings is now in the process of moving their full inventory online. And Governor Andy Beshear recommended last week that all schools close at least until April 20th. It is an unusual sight for most schools in March to see quiet hallways and empty classrooms, but the learning must go on. Teachers have taken different approaches, whether it be paper packets or Google Classrooms. Casey Huff, a writing and reading teacher, says everyone is working together to make the situation a positive and successful one.
The parents have been wonderful. Just helping, making sure that the kids get their work in, communicating. The open line of communication with the parents and the teachers has been really good. It's been a big help.
Knott County schools, like most others, are closed until April 20th and will wait for further direction from the governor and Kentucky Department of Education before making any other decisions. And as lawmakers work to craft public policy to combat coronavirus, they're jeopardizing their own health and risk spreading the virus even further. Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky tested positive for the virus this weekend. Utah's senator came in close contact with him and are now self-isolating as well. 4 other GOP senators stepped away as a precaution. Previously, 2 have returned. Washington correspondent Kyle Medora explains why it will take an act of Congress to allow lawmakers to work from home.
Ohio Senator Rob Portman says the country is counting on Congress.
We have to stay here to get this work done.
Failing to act quickly and decisively to contain this coronavirus could cost countless Americans their lives and financial security. But many of those still here in Congress are among the most vulnerable Americans and coming in closer contact with others than they should. Those who are absent are leaving their constituents without a voice.
There should be a way for the legislative branch to continue to operate, even if we cannot be gathering here in Washington.
Legislative staffs are largely working from home, but lawmakers can't mail or phone in their votes. Portman first suggested a remote voting option in times of national emergency shortly after 9/11. The idea resurfaced in both chambers earlier this month.
That is such an interesting idea.
We caught up with Georgetown University political science professor Mark Rome as he worked from home. He says while technology doesn't stand in the way like it may have in the past, lawmakers don't generally vote in favor of breaking from tradition.
Senators could vote remotely. Whether they will be willing and eager to move in that direction, I'm a little bit doubtful about that.
While there is bipartisan support for the idea, thus far, it's not getting traction with Democratic leaders in the House or Republicans in control of the Senate. But with absences now directly impacting how Congress responds to the virus, that may change. Just outside Washington, I'm Kyle Madura.
Coming up, as school and work closures leave many stuck at home, Amazon is now offering a way to help keep children entertained.
We're dry for now, but rain chances will return later today. I'll have more when we can see some relief in about 3 minutes.